Hello YouTube, I'm here to talk about the new Among Us show that was surprise dropped on Paramount Plus. I absolutely would have talked about it sooner if I knew that it was gonna drop, but here we are. I'm here to talk about how much I really enjoyed this show. I figured I would. I mean, I played Among Us. Who didn't? It's fun. I'd get back on it sometime. And I was a big fan of Infinity Train, and this has the same creator, Owen Dennis. So I'd been anticipating the show, actually. I mean, it kind of slipped my mind because they've not been promoting it. But here we are. The show gives you that classic murder mystery feel, like who is the imposter, finger pointing of it all, who's sus. They never said sus in the show. Missed opportunity. But what I really enjoyed about it was just how funny it was. Like, the mystery wasn't too extreme. Like, in some cases, I kind of thought there were going to be more plot twists than there actually were. But the comedy is what kept you clicking episode to episode. Some good laughs were had. Without further ado, I'll just get into our cast of characters and I'll go in order of death, I suppose. So there's your little spoiler warning. First death of the show was White, and White left really no impression on me. Like, episode 1 was long ago. You got kind of forgotten, but served a purpose as the first kill, a bit of a surprise to see the body, all that. And I will say, this show had its gory moments with the kills. They really came out the gate splashing with the body cut in half, which is what you want to see from this show, obviously. But I'm a little confused. Like, what's the target audience here? Is it kids? Is it adults? It felt like a pretty adult show, but I'm sure kids are going to watch it. Or is it teens? I mean, they don't make shows for teens anymore, unfortunately. This show's just such a mystery. Now, the second death, Blue, I have more of an impression on. Blue was your kind of classic doctor figure, got the very deep masculine voice. Blue as a character, I did not find very interesting at all. Pretty obnoxious and a little generic. Got a lot of screen time before the ultimate death. I was like, whatever. But what I found really funny was how when they were scanning all the different characters, everybody had a crush on Blue. They all wanted Blue really bad. And that's one thing to take away from this show. These characters were horny. And they had butts too. Those were my two takeaways from the show. You know, as soon as Blue's getting so much screen time, Blue's gonna die soon. As soon as all those scans go through, oh, there's Blue, gone. It was a good death though. Next was Lime, and Lime was living in the vents, kind of, which was a more unique role. And what we got of Lime was a bit of an extremist, spreading conspiracy theories, an anti-vaxxer. Ultimately, Lime busts out with a weapon, and Lime has the biggest kill of the show when Orange is there and reveals themselves to be the imposter and just totally takes out Lime and that silly little weapon right in front of everybody. So Lime was a menace. Like, I would not be friends with Lime or anything, and I would not believe a word out of Lime's mouth. But Lime was entertaining, very comedic, a good early boot for the show. That brings me to Orange, our first imposter of the show, and I thought Orange was like the best character of the show. Now, I'm a little biased because I just love Yvette Nicole Brown, the voice of Orange. But she's playing this by the books, for the company character, going over all the rules. Even after the imposter reveal, she's trying to play it off, keeping it very business, professional. They managed to throw her in the trash chute, and what was probably my favorite moment of the episode, they ask her, if we let you out, are you gonna keep killing everybody? And she's just like, yeah. And then they vote and they send her off into space, and it's revealed she's the imposter. She explodes. What an icon. It really shook up the mid-season. Oh, it was so fun. One imposter out, but that wasn't the end of it. We got another imposter and some more characters to die. And the next one was Cyan, and I really liked Cyan. Cyan had like a little like lesbian vibe going on with Black. Of course, I'm sucked into that. But we got a lot of personality from Cyan. A bit of your generic hippie, they do tarot readings, all that, a bit of a sweetheart. Purple's like our main character of the show, and Cyan got to bond with Purple a little bit and share their secrets. I think more than any other character, we really saw Cyan connecting with everybody. So when Cyan died, it was tragic. But I was also very suspicious because this show has really made itself known on showing off all the gruesome deaths and giving us the gory details, zooming in on the body. But they kind of went out of their way to hide Cyan's body behind the door. We saw a puddle of blood in Cyan's back half of the body. We didn't see any marks of death or anything. So my theorizing brain got to work, and I was like, oh, Cyan faked to death. Cyan and Black are like plotting something, and one of them's the final imposter. I was convinced for the back half of the show that Cyan was still alive. And I felt that coming true because we saw Black go to Cyan's body, which was the body, and pull out the journal and be like, oh, look, here's the answer. They were carrying rocks that are actually these imposters. And Cyan figured that out. And looking back in hindsight, I'm like, look at Cyan, a hero for the people, even in passing. Rest in peace, our hero. But back then I was like, oh, you see, Cyan knows stuff. Cyan's trying to point them in the wrong direction or something. I was so convinced there was gonna be a big plot twist that Cyan faked the death. But no, didn't happen. And I do think they could have made Cyan's death a bit more interesting, really, but maybe they wanted to steer me off in the wrong direction. I don't know. I think that was just me. I think I was just looking too deep into this show, and I was really trying to get wrapped up in a mystery. I'm like, you're not gonna fool me. Call me the fool. Loser. But more than any other character, Cyan was really haunting the narrative after and had some great connections in the show. Definitely a highlight of the show. The death was a little funky though, I have to admit. After it was all wrapped up and it's revealed how Cyan was killed, I'm like, this show has been so faithful to the game. The killer cannot like shoot down through the vents and just kill while still being seen. Like, that's crazy. That's weird. I didn't get that particularly because the game was so faithful, but whatever, I won't stick on that too much. Like, we're here to laugh. Now after that, poor Yellow got suspected of being a killer and they all did the vote. And the vote resulted in poor Yellow getting ousted. Yellow and Brown were both pretty irrelevant for most of the show. They were just off to the side, really living their life, having their fun. And you know, I appreciated it. They brought what they needed to bring, but you knew it wasn't gonna end well for them, and it did not end well for Yellow here. Yellow, so clearly innocent. I never suspected Yellow of anything, like you're pure of heart, Yellow. But they all just decided to gang up on Yellow and say, no, you're the killer, get out of here. But you know what? Yellow went out with a bang and was flipping everybody off into space. It was classic. You know, that might have been the best death of the show, actually. Like, you felt bad for her, but you really felt the, oh, screw you guys energy with that. And what a badass way to go out. So you know what? Yellow left a mark on me. Love Yellow. Now, shortly after Yellow, Brown went out. And I get a bone to pick with Brown because you're like, oh, I don't want to do any of this voting nonsense, but you should have stuck up for Yellow and done your vote anyway. You could have done a little more to save Yellow, but you didn't. And look what it cost you, your life. I was not sad to see Brown go, but I do think Brown had a nice ending, got to make pizza, got to try the salt, and the salt ended up becoming the key to the show, really. Like, oh, okay. Oh, now we know. If you need to solve an Among Us game, just sprinkle some salt on your enemies. Besides White, who was the first death, Brown is so irrelevant to my mind, though. I have nothing to say on this character besides, okay, you were cool, but you kind of pissed me off. That brings me to Black, and this was the death that hurt the most. I was so sad to see Black go, especially after losing Cyan. I was championing for Black, like, be our underdog champion. Come on, you can do this, Black. And Black really played a big part in solving the mystery, pulling out Cyan's journal and going through it. And Black's death was so sad. Like, Black escaped. Like, Black ran away, and I thought Black was gonna make it, but then Black got killed anyway. Oh my gosh, it was so tragic. Like, you were supposed to be our heroine here. You were supposed to make it out. I was rooting for you. We needed you to survive to carry on Cyan's legacy, but it just didn't happen. So with all that said, obviously I very much enjoyed Black, and I loved the like grumpy sunshine dynamic. That's always pretty fun, especially when it's got a bit of a lesbian angle. Like, all these crewmates, they got on their suits. You don't really know what's going on with them, but like the voices can lead you in certain directions. And that brings me to our big bad killer of the show, and that was Green. I could have predicted that from episode 1. Like, I did predict Orange, absolutely, from episode 1. And I could have predicted Green, but I was kind of bored by Green. Not the most exciting character. I mean, I wanted that Cyan thing to come true because I was like, that would really be exciting for the show. And that Green reveal and then our final 2 could have been like the most obvious thing ever. You just take the show for what it is. So yeah, a little disappointing for me personally, because I was expecting more plot twists, but it really was just kind of cut and dry. Oh, Green is our imposter. I guess Green made for a pretty exciting final episode, and yes, I was teasing the Green reveal with my choice of shirt today. Like, seeing our final 2 fight off the last imposter, it was pretty fun, and Green was a bit of a tease, but for most of the episodes, Green was kind of annoying, a little just irrelevant, not the most exciting character, one of the least exciting characters of the show until the big reveal, really. Just extremely generic, but I mean, I guess you would be a little generic if you're the imposter. And I'm still kind of stuck on that Cyan death. Like, why'd we do that? Like, of course that's gonna throw you off, because that doesn't happen in the game. The killer can't just sit on the vent and get a kill that way. Whatever. I'm not bitter. Our final survivors, though. I'll start with the Captain Red. And Randall Park is hilarious in anything, so of course you're gonna get a bit of a kick out of Randall. His captain was pretty funny. He was very incompetent, very stupid. I was quickly able to rule him out as an imposter suspect, because I'm like, you can't do anything. Of course you couldn't kill anybody. You don't know what you're doing. And that's kind of played into later on, because we do have a bit of a storyline here, a bit of a personal storyline between Red and Purple, and how they like grew up together, and how Red stayed in the system and Purple broke out, and now Purple's working under Red, and Red carried some guilt over that. It made the show pretty predictable, where you're like, oh yeah, these two are both gonna live, or at least make it to like the final episode. I thought they were a compelling pair. They got good screen time together. Red kind of sucked up a lot of screen time, and I got a little sick of him at times. Like, okay, let's go on to somebody else. But I'd say for the most part, I did enjoy Red on the show. Again, just a little predictable, but like, take the show more as a comedy than a mystery. Like, the mystery is just like a little added bonus that you're gonna be able to solve pretty easily. So like, if we got a season 2, I think a character like Red I'd enjoy more. And last but not least is Purple, who I pegged pretty early on as our main protagonist. Definitely came to fruition. Purple was the security guard, and every death that happened just so happened to take place when Purple walked away from the security cameras. And I'm sure that could have added some suspicion to Purple, but I never suspected Purple. Like, Purple was pure of heart. I trust Purple. I'd always play as Purple in Among Us. I'm always like flip-flopping on like what's my favorite color, but I think I lean more towards Purple at this point. So yeah, I'm a little more favorable to Purple, just naturally. It's the color of royalty, of course. But I think Purple did a fantastic job really anchoring the show, had some good connections to the other characters, like the bond with Cyan, and very much so was the voice of reason. You always saw Purple's side. I always wanted to root for Purple. I felt bad when bad things happened to Purple. Very much did the job of the main character. So those are all the characters. I so recommend this show to anybody. I just think it's so much fun. If you've ever touched Among Us once, I think you'd get a kick out of it. And even though they kind of got screwed in the release, like, I've never seen this happen before. Like, what? Why do you want your show to fail? I hope it does well regardless, and I hope we can get a season 2. Give me a whole different character roster. Like, it'll be fun. And you know, now I got the itch to open the game again. So I might just go do that. So stay tuned until next time. Bye!